Hello, ARC family. Welcome to the ARC journey. Got an opportunity to hear Pastor Jim Moss Jr.'s message from Sunday, talking about Psalm 23, particularly, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And he goes on to talk about going through the valleys and overcoming the fear in our life. And then I open up my devotional, working through again, experiencing God day by day, a devotional, and nothing can separate you. Romans 8:35. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? Romans 8:35. Nothing we have experienced, nothing we've seen, almost overwhelming, new variations of a pandemic, the different perceptions of how leaving Afghanistan, the hurricane that's come through, with more hurricanes approaching, the earthquake in Haiti, the stories we are receiving of continued deaths, continued loved ones who are passing away from COVID, this new variation, and a new one on the horizon. It just seems like good news begets good news, right? And we are not products of fear. And it kind of amazes me that we forget that Jesus began his ministry with 40 days of being alone in the wilderness, being tempted by Satan. He was not exempt. And in fact, his ministry led him to the cross. He was confronted every step of the way. He was loved and he was hated. He was welcomed and he was persecuted. And I just thought, from this devotional, if you allow the death of Jesus on the cross to forever settle any questions you might have about God's love, you will approach difficult circumstances with confidence, knowing that there will never be anything that could separate you from God's perfect love. You will watch to see how God expresses his love in each circumstance. Don't ever judge God's love based on your circumstances. Instead, evaluate your circumstances from the perspective of God's love. Our world needs to hear it, and we need to not forget it. That our God's love for us is not based on what we're going through right now. His love for us is settled through Jesus Christ on the cross. That is his proof of his love for us. And he will walk through us through all of this. And it is our privilege to be able to see God's love shining through the circumstances that we are walking through. And the opportunities for us to be able to share God's love at this moment, at this point in time, are huge. So I want to encourage you. God loves you. He has not forgotten you. He has not forsaken you. He is shining in your ministry in and through the circumstances that your community is facing today. And he wants to use you to be his Emmanuel, his presence in that community. So don't give in to fear, don't give up, and continue to press on and keep on shining. And remember that though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we will fear nothing. For his rod and his staff, the good shepherd, is walking with us. Nothing can separate us from the love of God. And So that's my word of encouragement for you. My prayer for you this day and this week as we press on together is that you will be able to keep shining because you are reflecting that love that God has proven through the cross, that people will see that being broadcast through you and shining through your life. So keep pressing on. Our prayers are with you. And we will talk to you next week. Bye bye.